Hello, it's Gabrielle again with Rising High Priestess, coming at you with my very first deck read. Pick your deck, pick your set, whatever it's going to be. There will be 4 cards per set that I will read. Each one of these cards come from a different deck, and so you'll get kind of like a nice mix today. Each deck is separated with a different stone, and so I have my Citrine on the very first deck, my Amethyst, my Obsidian, and my rose quartz. So I want you to take a deep breath, relax, and I want you to actually gravitate towards the set that calls you, the one that says, hey, pick me. In that set, there's a message for you, and I want you to stay tuned. Or you can skip ahead. I will put the time marks in the box below, and you can go to the set that is for you at that time, so you don't have to sit through the whole video, because this might be a little bit of a long one. Okay, so thank you for your patience in advance, and as usual, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you share the video. If this video and this reading resonates with you in your soul, in your shando, I want you to drop me a heart down below, leave me a comment, let me know what it did for you. You can also follow me at Instagram, over on Instagram, at Rising High Priestess, and risinghighpriestess.com is where you can schedule your one-on-one with me if you would so like to. So let's get this scheduled. Let's go ahead and get going. Let's get started. I don't know why I said let's get scheduled, but we're gonna roll with it because I'm not redoing it. And all right, so the first deck that we are working with will be the Citrine deck. So the cards will turn over. The first one is the Magician card. Followed by a card that says Chemistry. Followed by a shadow card that says Reset. And a beautiful affirmation card. And so let's get started on each one of these. And so I'm going to begin with the Magician card. I love the Magician card. I love how it looks on this deck. It is so beautiful. You have your beautiful creature here. I can never tell if it's a leopard. I think it is a leopard. I always get them confused sometimes with the lion and the lioness and the different ones. So, okay, don't judge me. What's my main thing? Mind your business. So your Magician card resonates with an energy of realizing that you have the power to create whatever life experience it is that you want. The life experience that you are seeking from other people. The life experience that you're waiting to unfold in your life. For whatever reason, you think that someone else is going to do this for you. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but the someone that you're waiting for is you. The hero in the movie that comes and saves the day, it's you. That's your role. So suit up, okay? This ain't rehearsal no more. It's action, okay? The Magician card is all about stepping into your power and saying, you know what, let me get out of my passenger seat and get into the driver's seat so that I don't have to keep agonizing on when the change is going to come. Instead, I can participate and know, okay, I have a forecast on when things are going to shift in my life. Whether it's good or bad, I can block certain things from happening. As long as you're an active participant in your life, you hold the control. But if you're playing passive, if you are sitting on the sidelines, if you are sitting in the driver's seat, this is when your life kind of takes you wherever it wants to go and you're just along for the ride. And so the Magician card is challenging you to step into your power right now. Step into your power, get behind the wheel, hit the accelerator, hit the gas, hit the brake, whatever it is you need to do. Put it in park for a moment if you need to take a quick break, okay? But this is your life. You get to decide how that next page in your journey looks. No one else can dictate that for you. Sometimes it can be overwhelming having to consistently and constantly adult. No one tells us just how exhausting adulting is. Adulting is one of the most tiring jobs I have ever had, because even when you are exhausted and you feel as if you can't take another breath, you still have to show up. You still have to be accountable. And so it can become really easy to get into this space of, well, I'm just not going to do anything. I'm going to just let things happen. But you bring more chaos to your life. And so step into your power. I don't care how troubling your life is right now, how stressful it is. Step into your power and start initiating the change that you are seeking and the change that you are desiring. After all, you're worth it. And if you don't do it, no one's going to do it. And that includes the universe. All right. So let's get to the next card in this deck. Well, in this set. That's the shadow card, which is reset. It's interesting that this card came up after the magician card, because, we spoke about, reclaiming your power. And even if that means resting, power can be resting. Power can be saying, I need a break. I need a time out. I need to take some solo time. I need to go into my hermit phase. I need to, slow down on clubbing and things like that. I need to slow my workload down at work. Maybe I'm biting off too much right now. The reset card is all about giving yourself a pause, giving yourself time to settle in the recent actions that have happened in your life. Sometimes we try to adjust too quickly to life, and it kind of causes us to have this emotional vertigo where we're on this roller coaster. We're up and down, and our loved ones become exhausted or frustrated with our mood swings. And it's us responding, it's us reacting to life too swiftly. And so, like I said, emotional vertigo sets in, and we're here and we're there and we're everywhere. And the reset card says, you know what? You don't have to be Superwoman. Yes, you're your own hero, but even a hero says, you know what? I got to take my cape off at the end of the night. I have to rest. I have to take a sick day. I have to take a mental health day. I have to take care of myself. I have to get back to the basics. What matters in my life? What are the goals that matter the most right now? Which ones have the most significance to me? I don't have to conquer the whole thing at once. Maybe I dissect my problems and approach it in a different way, And so reset, reanalyze, and gain a better and a more healthy perspective in your life and toward your problems, and see if that kind of shifts the narrative for you and takes some of that burden off of your shoulders, some of that stress off of you. All right. And don't forget your self-care and drink your water. All right. The next card that comes up for you is the chemistry card. So the chemistry card comes up. This is a different type of deck, by the way. It's speaking about your social interactions. And this can also go along with like relationships and just hobbies or things you feel obligated to. You want to make sure that you have a soul connection to these people and to these things. You don't want any empty connections right now in your life, because they take up energy. They take up effort. They take up space. And there's nothing wrong with holding space for things in your life, but you want to make sure the space that you are holding has some significance, that the person that is going to fill it has some significance in your life, or they exchange energy, or they refill you. Sometimes we hold space for people who do nothing more than take from us, and we wonder why we're so exhausted. We wonder why we're so tired. We wonder why we can't get the support that we so desperately seek. We look around the room and we see all these people, and no one is on the side like, hey, you need something? Do you need some water? Did you eat today? Did you take your medicine? You want to go work out today? Did you get some groceries? And it's because these people who do that, they're aligning with people who they don't have a genuine chemistry with them. They are operating off of the idea of that person. They are forcing a connection with that person based off of the potential that this person holds, instead of looking at who are they today. What type of characteristics do they have today? What type of character do they have today? And is that in alignment with who I am? Is that in alignment with the goals and the standard that I hold for myself? If not, you're wasting space. It doesn't mean you have to be mean to people. It just says you honor yourself and you have boundaries and you have standards in how you're treated and those who are around you. You have to date your friends too, okay? All right. And the next card that comes up, which is the final card in the Citrine set, It says wonder, and this is what it looks like, and I'm gonna read it. Now, this is an affirmation card. So this is a little different than tarot, but it's something that the spirit guides feel that you need to hear. And for whatever reason, you picked this deck. So I'm gonna see what wonder has to say for you today, all right? It's a wonderful thing to be in a state of wonder. And when I'm a good audience to my life becomes better and better theater. When something delightful happens, I can shout encore and be tickled when it happens again. When something maddening happens, I can laugh it off. Either way, I'm glad I got a ticket to the show. And so this card overall resonates with the theme of life, which is this Citrine card, about those who are in attendance, who's in your audience, including yourself. Whether things are going good or bad, there's a space of gratitude that, you know what, this is just a part of my journey. It doesn't mean that this is the story for the rest of my life. This doesn't mean that this is some curse that I can't get off of me or anything like that. It just means that for right now, this is the scene that I am watching. And even if it's something bad, what can I learn from it? What is this scene telling me about myself? How can I change it? How can I get into that magician position and change everything? How can I change this next scene? All right. So that is for the Citrine set. I hope that resonated with you. Let me know if it did in the comments below. Now we move on to the Amethyst set right now. Well, Amethyst is here now. We are going to begin. We have the Moon card as your very first card that comes up. And the Moon card is about danger. It's about the unknown and dishonesty. Kind of like there are things in which you don't know that can be harmful to you, things that you need to be aware. Sometimes it can even give the energy of a bad influence lurking around you. And I kind of hate sometimes that that's the energy that resonates with the Moon card, because I'm a fan of the moon. But it's more so what lurks at night, what lurks in the shadows and hides behind the shadows. And if you look at this card, it's like this mystery looks really dark. It's like you're kind of in the abyss, right? So with this card coming up, you want to be mindful of the people around you. You want to be mindful of the energy. Do you find yourself hanging around people who are deceitful, people who have two faces, people who take a bone to bring a bone to someone, you know? And so you're going to be mindful of the company that you're keeping, making sure that you're not aligning yourself with people who have malicious intent, with people who are miserable, with people who really don't see a reason in being happy. So it wants you to be aware of your friendships right now. Something's not on the up and up. Someone's being deceitful toward you. You may even have a few fake friends around you. They may be in your face smiling, but when things go great for you, they're behind your back speaking against you. And so just be aware of who you share what with. Everyone is not happy for your success. Some people are simply in your audience just to spectate and to have some information. They're not there to support. All spectators are not supporters. And so there is a spirit of discernment that comes along with this card, and being able to tell the real from the fake, being able to tell a genuine friend from someone who just wants to be around. And so use your discernment, trust your intuition, and move with wisdom. All right. So the next card that comes up in this says, it's not over yet. And like I said, this is a little bit of a different type of deck that I work with. So the card that says it's not over yet speaks of relationships. This resonates with the energy that whatever you felt has reached a conclusion is not done. Whether this is a relationship in a romantic sense, a platonic friendship. Sometimes it can even be with yourself. A lot of times we can give up on ourselves. We can feel as if we are a lost cause and nothing we're doing is right. Nothing that we're trying to do is right. And so everything is kind of meant to go wrong in some ways. This card comes up to say, not so quickly, okay? Yes, things might be going a little flighty right now. They may not be that great, but it's not over yet. This is just a bump in the road. And so it wants you to kind of get out of your hole of self-pity. It wants you to get out of this space of loathing, self-loathing energy right now, and say, you know what? no, I don't like it, but it doesn't mean I have to quit. It doesn't mean I have to throw the towel in. It doesn't mean I have to walk away from the situation. You don't want to become a habitual runner, okay? And that's the main theme of this card, is the running energy. Like the minute we feel it's over, it's like, okay, let me go, let me go. This card says, not yet. Take your shoes off, okay? Look at the situation, reassess. It doesn't mean to take flight, okay? So slow it down, all right? All right. So let's get to the next card. Now this is your shadow card. And this one says haunted by ghosts, which I find it very interesting that this card was followed by this card, that these cards came up together, right? Because the reason why I say that is it's not over yet. Sometimes we can have a trigger happy reaction. You know, we can have an instant reaction to a situation where the minute we hear the shot or we hear the trigger, we often run. And usually that happens because of a trauma. It happens because it's a very familiar feeling. And just like this shadow card that comes up and says haunted by ghosts, this is your past lurking. And so when we become fearful of our past haunting us, or our past coming back to get us, or making the same mistakes that we made in our past, we can find ourselves a little too reactive. You know, we can find ourselves giving up on people far too soon, ending relationships far too soon, just because of one problem or one incident. We find ourselves throwing in the towel and becoming quitters simply because we don't want to go through our past again. The only way to put your past to rest is to find peace with it and to find some type of conclusion with it. It doesn't mean that closure in the sense of, well, let me revisit my past, but sometimes you have to revisit the trauma, and you have to really identify what about this trauma was so hurtful to me. How did it really impact me? Why did it bring me to this place where I react to situations like this? It takes a little bit of digging, sometimes journaling your way through that trauma and saying, okay, yes, I acknowledge the pain. This is the effect that this pain had on me. This is how it's formed me. This is the type of person I've become because of this pain. But I'm at a point where I have to release it. Just because I went through this pain and I connect to this pain doesn't mean that this pain has to become a part of my identity. I can take the lesson from that pain and the wisdom and move forward and let the reactiveness of it go. And this is what this card resonates with. You don't want to spend your life running from ghosts from your past, or else you'll never stop running. And Spirit wants you to know that whatever you went through in your past was meant to be a teacher. It was meant to be a lesson. It was not to be your lifelong best friend. It was never meant to be your companion. It was never meant to be your security blanket. A lot of times people are running from their past, but in the same token, their past becomes an emotional support spirit. I don't even know what to call it. And they cling to it and they use it as an excuse for everything. It becomes a crutch, and it kind of goes against what they're saying. You know, they're running, but they're using it. It's weird, right? It's running from themselves. And so you're going to have to face this ghost, face this shadow, face this trauma, work through it, and then work through the part of releasing it so that you can learn to have interactions that, although they may feel familiar, you can separate the two and tell reality from fear. All right. So now we are at the affirmation card for this set. And it says love. I love that. All right, let me bring it up for you guys so you can see it. And I love the little unicorns on the back. All right, so I'm gonna read it up. Love is a many splendored thing. Today, I will notice and appreciate at least 3 of those splendors. Like the fact that puppies make me feel like a parent, or the surge of self-congratulation I feel when I sink a 3-point trash basket shot on the first try. Or how about the chills I get while singing along to my favorite song? So today, you are being asked to be present. Be present in the things that bring you joy. Sometimes we find ourselves being present in the things that bring us sadness or anger or rage or depression, but we never sit with the things that bring us joy. So sit with that feeling for a little while, okay? And now we move on to the Obsidian deck right now. Now we are in the Obsidian deck. Let's get started, shall we? So the first card that comes up is the 9 of Coins. And this is what it looks like. which is followed by a card that says wait, which is followed by the shadow card that says not my monkey, not my circus. My favorite shadow card, y'all. And I'm gonna save the affirmation card for later, okay? So let's get going. And so your 9 of Coins card, this card resonates a lot with the energy of accomplishment and discernment. It speaks a lot about having discretion and having some foresight before moving forward. And so it's not telling you to be fearful of your next step, even though you may be on a winning streak, but it's telling you to not grab at everything that gets your attention or everything that calls your attention. It's telling you to use some of your wisdom from past successes, even some past failures, and say, okay, how do I move in this next step? You know, seek out the guidance, pretty much, maybe even a mentor. Even if you feel secure in your own ability to make a decision, this card is kind of saying, you know, it's okay to slow down and just move with a little more caution, because the more you acquire in life, the more you have to lose. And it doesn't always have to be material things. You could have worked really hard for your sanity right now. You could have worked really hard for your emotional peace and for your spiritual peace. And so as you climb that rank and as you get to this place where you're accomplishing your spiritual goals and your emotional goals or your material goals, you have to move with a different amount of discernment, so that you don't lose it all. Sometimes it can be really easy when we're on a high and we're just doing good. We're just yanking up things. It's like Pokemon, right? You got to catch them all, everything you see, right? But this card says pump your brakes a little bit, have a little discretion, have a little discernment, and move a little slower, okay? Be cautious with your exploration. Be cautious with your journey. Be cautious of how many rocks you turn over, all right? So now we are going to go to this next card that says wait. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you the theme of this deck. Not the theme, but the theme of these first 2 cards is about instant gratification and holding off impulsiveness, holding off instant decision making, especially when you feel a high. Sometimes we're more cautious when things go wrong in our life, like we're too scared, right? But when things are going really good, we are literally flying on an angel's wingtips, and we feel like nothing can stop us. We feel very invincible in that moment. But this card comes and it says, wait, be patient, slow down. Give it a minute. Make sure you have all the facts. Make sure you have all the information. Make sure you thought about all of the best case or worst case scenarios that can happen before you proceed. Sometimes you have to pump your own brakes in order to not crash. That's the only way you can stop a car from doing it. Sometimes you're the one that got to pull the brake and say, you know what? Let me just park for a minute, even if it's for a day or two, and really think things over and make sure that you have enough information to move forward, okay? So the next card that comes up says, not my monkeys, not my circus. This card is all about what? Minding your business. If it does not concern you right now, beloved, mind your business. Everything that is calling for your attention does not deserve your attention. Every person and each person who does something to try to get a reaction out of you does not deserve a reaction. And that in itself is a response that, you know what, I'm not attending this chaos. You know, if this is what you want to do, have at it. But I no longer have a ticket to your circus routine. I'm no longer going to the tent show. I don't want to go. And oftentimes you're the one who has to remove yourself from the drama. You're the one who has to separate yourself from the chaos. The chaos is just going to keep entangling you. The drama is going to keep throwing more drama on top of you till you're buried and you can't figure a way out. You're the one that has to get up, grab your belongings, and say, you know what, I've had enough. You know, I'm not going to tell you guys to close the circus down, but what I can do is control if I'm in attendance. I can control if I buy a ticket. I can control if I sit down front and center and watch the show, even if it is entertaining, and pull myself away. And so this card is all about minding your business, minding your spiritual business, staying in your lane. It doesn't hurt anything to do so. It's actually for your benefit. Focus on you. Focus on your journey. Focus on your goals. Focus on your health, your love, your happiness, your money. Okay? I was about to say something else. I forgot I'm on YouTube. But something else. Focus on the good things that concern you. All right. And now we are going to the affirmation card of the Obsidian deck. And this one says ultimate potential. And this is what it looks like. All right, so this affirmation says, I choose to live a life of my fullest potential. I trust that this will draw me towards experiences and people that support my growth and accomplishment. Tuning into this frequency, I now reach higher heights than I ever thought was possible. Knowing that's an option, why would I ever tune into anything else? I'm looking at you, smooth jazz and talk radio. You catch the drift, okay? All right. If you can tune into a higher frequency, why would you lower yourself to something that just blah, 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 blah? Why would you tune into something less than? Again, why? Not my monkey, not my circus. Stay out of people's business, and then it won't be a problem. You won't find yourself getting riled up over something that doesn't concern you, something that doesn't feed you, something that doesn't finance you. This card, this affirmation card, literally just read you the filth in a very nice, positive affirmation type of way. I don't know if you catch the drift, but it kind of did. If you can tune into something that was so high, such a pristine frequency, why would you ever bother to listen to something else? And on that note, we're going to go to that very last set, the rose quartz set, right now. So we are in our last set. Let me move them over. All right, the first card that came up is the Page of Coins, followed by a card that says phone combo, followed by your shadow card that says this is not how the story ends, and of course your affirmation card. All right, so we are going to start with the Page of Coin card. So this card resonates with the energy of having, you know, deep concentration and focus to the task at hand, kind of being tunnel vision about yourself, having some tunnel vision about your goals and things that you are trying to attain and things that you are going for, and realizing, like, you know, I have to focus. I can't afford to give my attention to 17 different things right now. It has to be about me and for me. This is also a time of opening your mind to learning something new, learning a new approach towards something, even if that means fine-tuning your skill and saying, okay, what else can I add on to this skill set that I have? Oop, my hair was getting on my nerves right over there. All right. This is also about reflection. This is a time of studying for you. This is a time of looking at your journey up until this point and having an assessment on what you've learned so far. Be it good or bad. How have you changed? How have you transformed? Has it been for the good? Or has it been for the bad? What are some things you would like to see in the next 12 months? How would you like to develop in the next 12 months versus where you are currently? And so it's really learning to become very self-occupied. It doesn't mean selfish. Self-occupied means you're just occupied with yourself right now. You're occupied with your own journey. You're learning from your journey. You're learning from yourself. And you're trying to see, how can I get to this next level that I desire? All right. The next card is the shadow card. This is not how the story ends. And this card speaks on how this is an ongoing journey. It's nowhere near done for you. Even if you feel like you're in a cycle that's never ending and it's never going to get better. This card speaks on how you can't dictate how the future is going to go. You know, at the end of the day, if it's your book, you have the pen. There's always a fresh sheet of paper on the next page. I mean, unless we expire. But until that point, you can always turn the page and write a whole nother story, a whole nother beginning. Start again. Don't be afraid to throw a plot twist in your own story. Even if that plot twist surprises you. Sometimes you have to do that in order to save your story. All right? Don't become so committed to how you thought the story should have ended that you don't realize that you hold the power to change how it's going right now. That you have the power to still transform it. Sometimes we can become so focused on that we don't realize that we're the one ruining the story. So take your power back, get your pen, and start writing and hit that plot twist. All right, and the next card says phone convo. And so this card is about reconnecting with people, reaching out, not being so caught up in the text world. You know, sometimes it's easy just, you know, hey, let me just say I miss you on social media. Let me just say, hey, I'm sorry for your loss on social media. Had a little blooper, but I'm back. But the phone convo card comes up when we become so detached from the human experience. And sometimes the human experience is simply reaching out and calling someone, picking up the phone and saying, hey, how are you doing? How's your parents doing? How's your family doing? You know, how's your health? How's work? How the kids? How's your wife? We can become so tech savvy that we forget that there are humans on the other side of each gadget, each computer screen, each social media app. And everybody likes to feel like they're worth being reached out to, you know? And so this card comes up to tell you to get reconnected. Reconnect the old-fashioned way. Dial a number and say hello. All right, and this is finally your affirmation card that came up with this set, the Rose Quartz set. So it says options, and it has a Sunday. All right, so this says, as I open to the abundant possibilities of my life's path, I'm reminded that I always have unlimited options. Life is a buffet, and I allow myself to choose whatever makes me happiest, without limiting my thoughts like, you can't put mac and cheese on your baked potato. No one can tell you how your life is supposed to go. It's your life. If you want to put broccoli and cheese over macaroni or hot sauce in your broccoli, that's a metaphor. You know, however you want to do it, that's your business. Do it. No one can tell you how to live your life. People can offer suggestions. People can be there to offer advice. But when it comes down to it, this is your life. This is your Sunday. Dress it how you like. As usual, mind your business. Moisturize your skin. Follow me on Instagram. Make sure you subscribe to the newsletter on risinghighpriestess.com. Hit that subscribe button on YouTube. And I will be back with you guys tomorrow with another Shade and Shadows, all right? Thank you again. It is Gabrielle with Rising High Priestess.